Hello and welcome here to Talk FCB. Now you're probably realising that I'm not talking with my usual optimism and enthusiasm and being positive and being generally quite cheerful. The match has just finished. Barcelona 0, Malaga 0. Once again, I have no problem with dropping points throughout the season. That's something that happens. Not many teams, not any teams really, go through a season winning every single game. When you draw a game in that manner, there are big problems. The biggest criticism I can give of that side, they looked out there like last season's Barcelona. Now that will hit everybody really, really hard. The one thing you want to keep away from is Tata Martino's Barcelona. Out there at La Rosaleda, on a crap pitch, with a crap referee, with all excuses put aside, that was an awful performance, and that was simply not good enough. It's difficult to explain in such a short time how many things we did wrong out there. First of all, the team selection. We have 3 matches in 7 days, which is a very, very gruelling schedule. Luis Enrique feels that we have to rotate, which I completely understand. One thing I didn't agree with in the lineup was, I think Piqué and Bartra straight away. I don't really understand the idea of resting Machu. I think Piqué and Bartra, I'm not really sure about the defensive line in general. I think Douglas actually played okay, but then at the same time, you need Dani Alves. The fullbacks in the system that Luis Enrique plays, the fullbacks are the most important part of it, because we don't have width up front anymore. We don't play with wide wingers. We play with Pedro and Messi and Neymar, all very central. The only width in our team comes from Jordi Alba and Dani Alves. Tonight, in the first half, Douglas hardly went forward at all. When he did go forward, all he did was pass the ball back. Douglas played very, very well defensively, but didn't play very, very well offensively, which is brilliant in tough games, in tight games, against Atletico, against Real. Douglas can defend quite clearly. He cannot go forward, though, in the same way that Dani Alves can. Yes, Dani Alves may cross into ridiculous situations and give the ball away, but he still gives us width. He still gives the fullback something to worry about. Tonight, Malaga were able to set up with a very, very central pack of defenders. They had 4 players, very, very central. They had Sergi Dada and Camacho just sat in front of the back 4. Iniesta and Rakitic completely marked out the game. They did absolutely nothing. Rakitic did a few things from set pieces when we came close. Iniesta, though, was completely marked out the game. One of the worst games I've seen Iniesta play for a while. And believe me, it hurts saying that. It really does. Claudio Bravo, probably one of our best players. Luckily, he saved the free kick. Not sure how he did it, but luckily he saved the free kick, or we're 1-0 down. In the second half, in the first bit of the second half, I give full credit to Malaga. In the first half, all they did was sit back, defend, no respect for that at all. If you're going to bus park, don't come, and ask for the respect from me. That's not how football should be played. But in the second half, fair play to them. They came out. They attacked us, they pressed us, they had a few attempts on target, and for about 20 minutes of the second half, we could not get out of our half, and that's serious. We didn't have one clear-cut chance, not one. I don't know, I haven't really looked at the stats, but I don't think we had many shots on target. There was a moment in the second half where the ball went into Neymar, a Rakitic ball into the box. Neymar made a good run, a good inside run, and it went over the bar, and it was a deflection. There was moments like that where you thought, maybe we're going somewhere, but there was no period in the entire match where we carried on sustaining, pressure. We put pressure on Malaga for a sustained period. That did not happen. We did not put enough pressure on them consistently because they weren't worried. We'd put a bit of pressure on them, then they'd come and counter-attack us, and suddenly we'd be back in our own half defending. They did not look worried at any moment in that match. And then I'm going to go on, and for the first time this season, I am going to criticise Luis Enrique's substitutions. Now, everything I'm saying in this review applies to this match. I'm not criticising Luis Enrique in terms of his whole management, just in this game. That's all I'm saying. In this game, you got his substitutions wrong. To bring on Munir and Sandro at the same time, it looked good. It did look good, and had one of them scored, it would have looked absolutely magical. But they didn't. Both of them came on and had zero impact. Pedro and Neymar, with space, which did appear in the end. The final 10 minutes, you did see some space in the wide areas. Sandro had an opportunity where Messi played him in, where had he shot, he could well have scored. Now, you think if that's Pedro, you think if that's Neymar, there's a different outcome. All I'm saying is, you put those two on together, I think maybe it was a bit of a risk. Put one of them on to try and change things, but I don't agree with taking both Pedro and Neymar off. Both of them, who didn't do much. Pedro looked quite dangerous in the box. Neymar seemed as though he didn't really do much, but as the game opened up, both of them could have had an impact. So in that respect, not really sure. A lot of people saying bring Xavi on. Wouldn't have done an awful lot. Xavi comes on, just controls the game. We seemed in enough control in around the midfield. But all we kept doing was passing the ball out wide and then crossing it. And then if we didn't cross it, we'd get... A lot of the time, the problem was we weren't quick enough on the ball. The pass would go out to the wing and we'd take a touch. There was one instance where the ball went out to Douglas. He had a chance. If he'd have put it in first time without taking a touch, if he'd have just put the ball in the box, there was a chance. But he took a touch, then it was blocked, then it went out for a corner. I think we had about 50 million corners. You know, that's no exaggeration. We literally had a corner every 5 minutes. Do we do anything on corners? No, we don't. I don't know what we do in training. I don't know if we practice them. I don't know if corners even exist in Barcelona. But we do nothing from set pieces. If we were Atletico Madrid, we would really probably win the league with ease because they get corners and they do something from them. With us, we just seem to put it in the box and hope. The referee, I'm not going to go on and make excuses because, as I've said, this is a bad performance from the team. This is a poor performance from everyone involved. But the referee was absolutely shocking. There was a moment in the second half towards the end with a centre-back Wellington. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because I don't want to say anything that I may regret later on. But basically, he grabbed Lionel Messi by the throat and threw him to the floor. If that's not a red card, I don't know what is. I would love Lionel Messi to get up. Of course, he's not this kind of guy, but I'd have loved him to get up and just smacked him back across the face. See what the referee does then. And I bet you then the red card comes out because somehow we don't seem to get the decisions. And at the moment, it's all going lovely in La Liga. The referees are making these wrong decisions. Comes to our games and they continue. And the problem is, referees do not have any consistency in La Liga, and it continues to happen every single week. Except for one team. You all know the team I'm on about. I'm not going to mention the name. You all know who I'm on about. They seem to get these lovely referees who just happen on that day to make the right decision for them. We don't seem to get it. The pitch, I don't know how you're allowed to play on a pitch like that. I think Malaga over the season will get a number of injuries, and I almost hope they do. I don't like wishing injuries on people, but I hope their players get injuries from that pitch, because that pitch was absolutely shocking. You know, if you fall on that pitch, if you plant it in that and you twist your knee or your ankle, you're in serious trouble, and that was no way acceptable. Other than that, though, other than the referee and the pitch, we can't blame anything. It was our own performance. We were slow. We were lethargic. There was a lack of desire and lack of energy. You know, it seemed that the players, I think two in particular, I'm not going to rustle out of this. Lionel Messi and Andres Iniesta tonight didn't show enough desire, and I'm going to say that out there. I absolutely love both of them. I adore both of them. I idolise both of them. But tonight, I'm going to come out and say it. They didn't show enough desire. They didn't come and get the ball enough. When they did get the ball, there wasn't enough in it. They didn't do enough running. And at least with some players out there, I would say Rakitic, Pedro, Jordi Alba, they didn't hide. They didn't go hiding. They didn't play brilliantly, but they did try and get the ball. They did try and do something with it. Some players tonight didn't do enough running and didn't do enough with the ball. And all I'm going to say is, it's one game. I've had a massive rant here for 8.5 minutes. It's one game, we haven't lost, and we haven't conceded a goal. So with all those negative points, Luis Enrique will look at this game and think, you know what, this might not actually be so bad, because we're going to go into training tomorrow and we're going to work on everything we've seen here, because clearly the squad isn't perfect and it's not playing perfect football, but that doesn't mean that Luis Enrique can't start doing that. He can. He's the kind of manager who will go into training tomorrow and say, look lads, you gather around here, this is what we're doing, we're working on what we did wrong, and this is what we're doing. They have to do that because clearly today there was problems. Against a side who defended and counter-attacked, there was big problems. Lack of creativity, lack of motivation, lack of desire, lack of work rate. There wasn't enough pressing. There will be things in training tomorrow that Luis Enrique works on, and that's a good thing. There are positives that can come out of this game. The one positive, of course, we're still top of the league. The other positive, we haven't conceded any goals. We're still unbeaten. We still come away with a point, which is, you know, if you look at it, some of the chances Malaga had, that was actually quite a good point. So let's move on. It's been said now, it's been done, the players that know they haven't performed well enough, but knowing our players, they'll come back stronger, and I've got every confidence that next match on Saturday against Granada, only a few days away, they need to bounce back, and I've got absolutely no doubt they will. Luis Enrique is the right manager, we've got the right players, and I've got no doubt that on Saturday against Granada at the Camp Nou, we'll come out fighting, and I really hope we do. So please leave your comments below, guys. I'm really interested to know what you guys thought of it, because of course it's a pretty tough day for everyone involved, so let's get the comments down there. As I say, everyone who I criticised or said things against, I'm only on about this game. The players that are on the pitch are great players, but today it just wasn't good enough. So thanks for watching, guys. Please leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you very soon, hopefully with some better news. Visca del Barça.